In April 2012, I spent a month living technologically in the 1950s in New York City. Through this, I found a better life, this past life. Welcome back. I'm Elle Gore, and this is episode 23 of This Past Life. Happy New Year! Woo! Yay! Welcome to 2013, and my first episode in the new year, and my first episode on the new schedule of doing this once a month instead of once a week. Although I have so much to cover, I feel like I have to do it weekly. Maybe I'll end up doing a bi-monthly thing. I don't really know. But first of all, I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about something I saw on the news this morning. The Today Show was featuring part of a clip from an episode of Dateline talking about technology detox. And as all of you who have been with me from the beginning know, this is how This Past Life kind of began, was that I was living as a technologaholic, and I felt that that was inhibiting my happiness in my life. And as a result, this project was kind of born, and I learned a lot about my addiction to technology and how it was making me unhappy. So I'm really excited to see the episode on Dateline about technology detox. The clip that I did catch was about 4 or 5 20-somethings that had all of their technology taken away, and they talked a lot about what I went through, which was a literal, what is it called? Withdrawal. Literal withdrawal. A compulsion to check your technology, and then through I think they did it for 2 weeks. Through that time, they found that they reconnected more with the people around them. There was less conflict in their life, even if it was just because they didn't know about it, or and felt happier and less anxious. I think that's pretty cool. I think that falls right in line with what was happening to me, and I think what would happen to most people if they stepped away from the technology, even for just a day or two. So that's pretty neat. Hope you check it out. Now on to this past week's challenge, which was to darn or repurpose something. I hope all of you enjoyed my little tip about how to repurpose plastic stocking sleeves for your patterns. And as part of the challenge, I darned a sweater. I got this beautiful sweater at Beacon's Closet in New York City on, I don't know, near Union Square. And there were holes in it, and as a result, it was very discounted. I think it was like $12 maybe. But all of the beading was intact. There were just a couple moth holes here. And so what I did is I darned it, which is basically creating a new woven pattern on top of the fabric. And although I can see it when we look really close up, as I'm sure can you, from far away it still looks lovely, and I have not only salvaged a sweater, but I get something really pretty for much less money, which I'm always a fan of. What did you darn or repurpose? Let me know. You can always email me at thispastlife@gmail.com or comment on the blog and all that stuff. You guys know. So now on to January's challenge. This week's challenge is going to be to use a cloth hanky. I was just talking to one of my friends on Facebook, and she said her nose was sore from using tissue. And I sympathize. Normally I get a cold, beginning of the season, end of the season, it's New York City, there's germs everywhere because there's people everywhere. And normally I have very sensitive skin, so my nose gets really raw, my little nose. But that has not been the case since I've started using cloth hankies, both silk and cotton. And they're everywhere, and they're really pretty, and some of them are hand, stitched, and some of them are beautiful little prints, and all kinds of stuff like that. I have one right here. He's all wrinkly. I haven't ironed him yet. But here's an example cute little festive hanky. I keep one next to my bed. I keep one in my purse, and they're kind of great. Not only are they repurposing and of course reducing the amount of waste that we throw away, but they're also really nice on your nose, which is important because you don't want to walk around with the pink nose, right? And then, you know, somebody mentioned on this feed that I was looking at about hankies, when my friend said that her nose hurt and I mentioned hankies, they said, I don't know how green they are. Which is a reasonable question because you wash them in, well, I mean, you don't have to wash them in a machine, but you could. And she said that they were possibly not so green because they used electricity to warm the water and electricity to put them in the dryer and things like that. And that, of course, is a very valid point. But I think if you already use your washer and dryer, they take up a very small amount of space, and they're also, you know, cost efficient. You spend $1 maybe at the secondhand store, or you can buy them on eBay, and then you just use them over and over again. And they're pretty, and they're nice to your nose. All bonuses. So this month's challenge. Did I say week before? I'll have to get used to saying that differently. So this month's challenge: use a hanky. Very easy. Now on to everybody's favorite game show. Name that flat silver. Last month's fork was a luncheon fork. We had the dinner fork, then we had the luncheon fork. Interesting that the luncheon fork is the smaller one. I guess that makes sense because it's a smaller meal. But now we're moving on to our first knife. So I can't wait to hear what you think that is. These ones are not very hard, but I have yet to get more than 2 guesses. Does this mean you don't care? Or does this mean you do not know? In which case, it's a very good thing that we have named that flat silver, because otherwise, how would you know what your silver is called? It's a good point. So before we wrap everything else up for this month's episode of This Past Life, I wanted to give a shout out to a lovely letter that I received from Miss Dinise in Corona, California. She took the time to send me a letter and wish me happy holidays, as well as write to me about what she thinks about the show. And I just wanted to say hello, and that I appreciate you taking the time to write me very much. I just mailed a letter back to you today. And one of the things she brought up, which I thought was interesting, is that she doesn't I had mentioned that I'm a technologaholic, and she said that she thinks that it's not so bad for her. And in the letter back to her, I wrote how happy I am that that is not the case for her. And I think that, you know, that there are people that don't use technology in excess, and I aspire to be one of them. So I just wanted to say hello, thank you for writing, and also if anybody else would like to write and be featured on the show, let me know what you think about it, or give me ideas, or maybe challenge ideas, or new game show ideas, anything. I'm open to it all. You can write me at This Past Life, P.O. Box 1417, New York, New York 10028. Of course, there is always Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or you can just send me an email at thispastlife@gmail.com. I always look forward to hearing from you all. And can't wait to begin 2013 with you. And am excited what that will bring. Excited about what that will bring. Yes. So, until next month, I'll see you next time.